Hello everybody, so let us look at this question from the SAT math section. We have that a rectangle is inscribed in a circle such that each vertex of the rectangle lies on the circumference of the circle. The diagonal of the rectangle is twice the length of the shortest side of the rectangle. The area of the rectangle is 1089 times square root of 3 square units. What is the length in units of the diameter of the circle? Now, we have the circle right here, okay? We have this rectangle which is drawn, which is inscribed inside of it such that the vertices of the rectangle are on the circumference of the circle. Okay. We have been told that diagonal of the rectangle is twice the length of the shortest side of the rectangle. So let us draw the diagonal of the rectangle right here. Okay. So this is the diagonal of the rectangle. Okay. Now, this is the diagonal of the rectangle. So when we draw the diagonal of the rectangle gets split into two different right-angled triangles. Okay, two different right-angled triangles. So after that, we have been told that the diagonal of the rectangle is 2 times the shortest side of the rectangle. Let the shortest side of the rectangle be equal to x. The diagonal of the rectangle will therefore be equal to 2x over here. Now, we have been told area of the rectangle is 1089 times square root of 3 square units. So over here, when we drew the diagonal of this rectangle, we split both. Excuse me. We split the rectangle into two different right-angled triangles. Okay. So the diagonal of the rectangle is also going to be the hypotenuse of each of these right-angle triangles. We have the shortest side right here, which is equal to x. Okay. So we need to find this other side of the triangle, which also happens to be the other side of the rectangle, and then after that, we'll be multiplying this other side of the rectangle by x, and we will set that equal to 1089 times square root of 3 square units, and then from there we'll calculate the value of x from there. Okay, so let us find the length of this other side of the rectangle. So we'll have we'll find it using the Pythagorean theorem. So this particular side length right here is going to be equal to 2x whole squared minus x squared. Okay, and it is going to be the square root of that based on the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, the Pythagorean theorem says that the sum of the squares of these two sides is going to be equal to the square of the hypotenuse. So therefore, this side length consequently is going to be hypotenuse squared minus side length squared. Okay, and then square root of all of that. So that is what we have written over here, and then we continue down here. We have 4x squared minus x squared, square root of the entire thing. That is going to be equal to 3x whole squared, square root of that. Okay, and then this is going to be equal to square root of x squared, which is x, multiplied by the square root of 3, which is right here. So that is going to be equal to this particular side length right here. We can also compute this using the converse of the 30, 60, 90 triangle rule, okay? Because the hypotenuse length is twice the length of this side length right here. So therefore, this particular side length is going to be this side length multiplied by square root of 3, because this side of the triangle is half the hypotenuse length. So therefore, this angle is going to be 30 degrees right here, and this angle right here is going to be 60 degrees right here. So the side opposite 30 degrees is going to be half the length of the hypotenuse, but that was given to us in the question itself. Okay, so that's that. And then this side length right here is going to be this particular side length multiplied by square root of 3, because it's opposite of the 60 degree angle. So therefore, this side length is going to be this particular side length times the square root of 3, which is what we have here. And we also calculated it using the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, using the Pythagorean theorem over here. Okay, so now when we multiply both of these side lengths, we are going to get 1089 times square root of 3 square units. And then we have to calculate, after that we have to calculate the length in units of the diameter of the circle, which is going to be equal to 2x. So we're going to first compute the we're going to first multiply both of these expressions and set that equal to 1089 times square root of 3 square units, because that is the area of the rectangle. So we continue down here. Okay, we have x multiplied by x times square root of 3. Okay, that is going to be equal to 1089 times square root of 3 square units. And then we're going to get x squared times square root of 3 is equal to 1089 times square root of 3. Okay, so we divide square root of 3 by both sides. We're going to get x squared is equal to 1089. Okay, we're going to continue up here. Okay, we're going to continue here. Now we have that x squared is equal to 1089. Okay, so 1089 is a perfect square. Okay, and because x squared equals 1089, x is going to be equal to the square root of 1089. Okay, and that is going to be equal to 33. Okay, the question tells us that to calculate the diameter of the circle right here. Okay, what is the diameter of the circle? Diameter of the circle is going to be equal to 2x. Okay, which is going to be equal to 2 times the value of x, which is 33, and that is going to be equal to 66. So we have 66 as our final answer to this question. Thanks to all of you for watching this video. I'd like to see all of you in the next one.